Our planet has witnessed countless extinctions, but some were so sudden and shocking that they changed human history forever. Today we explore the most unexpected extinctions ever recorded, creatures that vanished almost overnight, leaving behind mysteries, regrets, and powerful lessons. Number 7. The Great Auk was once one of the most iconic seabirds of the North Atlantic, standing almost 3 feet tall, 85 centimeters, with a sleek black and white body and a powerful beak. It resembled a modern penguin but lived far from Antarctica, nesting on rocky islands near Iceland, Canada, and Greenland. Despite being strong swimmers capable of diving 300 feet underwater, the Great Auk's biggest weakness was its inability to fly. This made it incredibly vulnerable. For thousands of years, humans hunted the bird moderately for food, but everything changed when the demand for feathers and oil exploded during the 1700s. Hunters captured them by the thousands, filling ships with their skins and bodies. By the time scientists realized the species was disappearing, it was already too late. The last 2 known Great Auks were killed on July 3rd, 1844, on Eldey Island after a great storm drove them to shore. A witness said the female sat on their last egg while the male tried to protect her. Both were strangled, and the egg was crushed during the struggle. A species millions of years old vanished in a single moment, and humanity realized the cost too late. Number 6. Tasmanian Tiger, Thylacine. The Tasmanian tiger, or Thylacine, was one of the most unique predators to ever exist. It looked like a wolf with the head of a dog, the stripes of a tiger, and the body of a kangaroo, because it was actually a marsupial, meaning it carried its young in a pouch like a kangaroo or koala. For thousands of years, it ruled Australia and Tasmania, silently stalking prey at night. But when Europeans colonized the island, they blamed the Thylacine for killing sheep despite very little proof. The government offered bounties for killing them, and hunters were paid for each body they delivered. By the early 1900s, the Thylacine was nearly wiped out. Scientists finally realized their mistake and asked the government for a protection order. But it was signed just 59 days after the last known Thylacine died. The last survivor, Benjamin, spent his final years in a zoo, pacing alone in a tiny concrete cage. On a freezing night in 1936, the keepers accidentally left him outside without shelter. He died of exposure. Since then, hundreds of reported sightings and blurry videos have created rumors that the Thylacine still survives in the wilderness. But without proof, the species remains officially extinct. A tragic example of killing first and asking questions later. Number 5. Steller's sea cow. The Steller's sea cow was one of the largest marine mammals of modern times, a peaceful herbivore related to the manatee and dugong. These gigantic creatures grew up to 10 meters, 33 feet long, and weighed nearly 10 tons, living in family groups along the cold waters of the Bering Sea. They were discovered in 1741 by the explorer Georg Wilhelm Steller, who described them as gentle animals that fed on kelp and never showed aggression. They floated close to shore, communicating with soft sighing sounds. Sadly, because they were slow, friendly, and stayed near the surface, they became easy targets for hunters seeking meat and fat for oil lamps. Only about 2,000 individuals existed at the time of discovery, and within just 27 years, the species was hunted into total extinction. The last one disappeared around 1768. Making it one of the fastest extinctions in recorded history. Scientists say that if hunters had killed even slightly fewer individuals each year, the species might still be alive today. Number 4. Woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is one of the most famous Ice Age giants. Covered in long, shaggy fur with massive curved tusks, mammoths lived across Europe, Asia, and North America, roaming frozen tundras in huge herds. Most mammoths died out around 10,000 years ago due to melting ice sheets, rising sea levels, and hunting pressure from early humans. But what few people know is that a tiny isolated population survived on Wrangel Island off the coast of Siberia, long after the rest of their species vanished. Protected by the ocean, around 500 to 1,000 mammoths lived there until about 4,000 years ago, meaning they were alive while the pyramids in Egypt were being built. Scientists believe their extinction happened due to a sudden environmental collapse, possibly caused by contaminated water or genetic weakness from inbreeding. One day, the last mammoth walked the silent frozen shore, and no one was there to witness the moment the species disappeared forever. Number 3. The moa and Haast's eagle. In New Zealand lived the moa, one of the largest birds that ever existed, reaching 12 feet tall and weighing up to 250 kilograms. Because they had no natural predators, they evolved without wings and lived peacefully, feeding on plants across forests and plains. Their only enemy was the Haast's eagle, the most powerful eagle ever known, with a wingspan over 10 feet and talons large enough to crush a human skull. But when the first Polynesian settlers, the Maori, arrived around the year 1300, intense hunting and habitat burning rapidly reduced moa numbers. In less than 100 years, every species of moa was gone. With its primary food gone, the mighty Haast's eagle also fell into extinction shortly after. It is the only known example where humans caused the collapse of an entire ecosystem within a single century. Number 2. Passenger pigeon. The passenger pigeon once filled the skies of North America in flocks so gigantic that they stretched over 300 miles and took hours to pass overhead. Estimates say there were up to 3 to 5 billion birds, making them possibly the most numerous bird species on Earth. People described the sound of their wings as thunder. Because they were so abundant, people believed they could never disappear, but industrial-scale hunting for food and feathers, along with massive deforestation, destroyed their numbers faster than anyone expected. By the 1890s, only a handful remained. On September 1st, 1914, the last individual, a bird named Martha, died in the Cincinnati Zoo. Her death was a turning point that shocked the world and helped inspire the first wildlife protection laws. Number 1. Lonesome George. On the remote Galapagos Islands lived the Pinta Island giant tortoise, one of many unique species studied by Charles Darwin. For centuries, sailors captured tortoises for food and accidentally introduced goats that destroyed their habitat. By the time scientists realized the danger, almost all were gone. In 1971, researchers discovered the very last living member of the species, later named Lonesome George. He became a global symbol of conservation. For decades, scientists searched worldwide for a female to save the species, and even attempted artificial reproduction, but every attempt failed. On June 24, 2012, George died at more than 100 years old, and with him, an entire species vanished forever. His preserved body now stands as a reminder that once a species is gone, there is no second chance.